Hola, feliz año nuevo. This is Tamara Marie, host of the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast. And before we get started with this episode, I have a very important question for you. What will you do to make the year 2022 different than last year? And specifically, I'm talking about as it relates to your ability to speak Spanish fluently. Well, if you're not sure or if you have some ideas and you want a little bit of a push to help you get this year started on the right track so that this year will definitely be the year that you make some real improvements in your ability to communicate in the Spanish language, then I would like to invite you to sign up for our 2022 Spanish Fluency Challenge. We will be talking about how to set effective goals, but more importantly, I'll be walking you through a proven method for how to go about reaching conversational fluency without all the things that you don't need. So it's completely free to sign up for the challenge. Just go to SpanishConSalsa.com/2022 challenge. That's SpanishConSalsa.com/2022 challenge. We get started soon and it's free, so I hope that you'll join us. Now let's get to the episode.
Bienvenidos! Welcome to the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast, the show for Spanish learners that love music, travel, and culture. Close your grammar textbooks, shut down the language apps, and open your ears to how Spanish is spoken in the real world. Let us show you how to go from beginner to bilingual. Here is your host, certified language coach, Tamara Marie.
Hola, bienvenidos al episodio 143. Welcome to episode 143 of the Learn Spanish con Salsa podcast. In this episode, we are going to talk about a topic that I think is really important as we start a new year, or even if you're listening to this and it's a little bit after the start of the new year. It's always important as we're looking at setting goals and taking our next steps to move forward that we do so in a way that actually works, right? So a lot of us may know that setting a New Year's resolution might not necessarily be the best way to go about achieving our goals, but we might not know exactly what to do or what works for us. So at the beginning of the year, we usually talk about how to set effective goals for language learning because, this is a time when a lot of people are taking a look back at the last year, taking stock of really what went well and maybe what didn't go so well. So I want to give you some tips and some advice, and it's a little bit maybe non-conventional. Maybe you might think it's something that you haven't tried before, but I think that's a reason to try it out. Because I think it really is important to make sure that you stay focused to reach your goals, especially if you want to make this year the year that you speak Spanish fluently. So I'm actually going to talk about not what to do to set effective goals, because we've talked a lot about goal setting on the podcast, and definitely check out our goal setting series if you haven't listened to it already. I'll put a link in the description and the notes for this episode so you can refer back to that as a starting point. But I think this may be even more important than deciding what to do. And this is really deciding what not to do to reach your fluency goal. A lot of us have many different goals, many different interests, and it can be overwhelming when we think about all the things that we want to do. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself. But I think that there is power in deciding what not to do because it's really a way to set up some parameters around how you will spend your time this year. And deciding what you won't do is sometimes just as important as deciding what you want to achieve because it really does help you say no to things that will pull you away from your goals. So it really is a powerful exercise, and I encourage you to try it for a few different reasons. You might be thinking, well, why would I talk about all these negative things, right? What I don't want to do, right? There's people who will say, oh, you only have to focus on the positive. Your brain doesn't really register the negative. And if you focus on that, then you end up steering yourself in the wrong direction. But I would say in this case, it's a little bit different than that. We are actually trying to laser focus, right, and put blinders on to the things that will interfere with our ability to reach our goal. And an effective way to do that can be to simply state the things that you won't do. You can call these negative goals. You can call it a not to-do list. A lot of us like to make to-do lists or make goals. So maybe this is a negative goal or something not to do. But I think it can be really powerful because one, like I said, it helps keep us focused towards our goal. Two, it helps eliminate distractions. So if we're thinking about multiple things and we say, look, I'm not going to do that right now, then now we have the space and the energy to focus on what we want to do. So just by blocking some of those things out, it kind of gives us that space. So you can think of the analogy, let's say that you're in a room with a lot of clutter. Maybe there's things everywhere, right? It's really hard to think straight because you've kind of got everything out all over the place. But let's say then you go into a room that's very spacious, everything's very clean and organized, very orderly. You begin to think differently. And it's not because you somehow changed, right? You're the same person in both rooms and in both environments. But the difference is because you don't have all these other distractions, all these other things kind of pulling at your energy a little bit at a time, you're actually able to have the space to think clearly and then to focus on what you want to do. So try that out, or maybe you've had this experience before, or maybe you're much better at organizing than I am and you haven't had this experience of walking into a room full of clutter, but just pay attention to how you feel, right? And it's the same way when we have a lot of goals that we want to accomplish. All of those goals can be mental clutter. We're thinking, oh, I want to learn Spanish, and I want to learn Portuguese, and I want to learn French, I want to travel, I want to do this. And oftentimes, if we spend our days thinking about all the things we want to do, at the end of the day, we find that we've made little or no progress towards meeting any of those goals because we're just overwhelmed with the sheer number of things that we want to do. So again, not only can this help you focus, it can also help you clear out distractions. And lastly, it can help you make decisions. Coming up with a list of things that you won't do this year can really help you evaluate new opportunities as they arise. So it really does free up, again, a lot of mental space and time, because instead of trying to evaluate, okay, should I buy this course? Should I do that? Should I have this meeting? Should I, go to this event? If you already have some parameters, some guides to say, look, these are things I'm not going to do this year, then it makes it a lot easier to make those decisions as they come up, as those opportunities arise to do other things. You have a quick reference to, oh, you know what? I said I'm not doing that this year. Okay, so those three things are the really powerful reasons why you want to come up with a list of things that you will not do in 2022. Oh, that kind of rhymed. You will not do in 2022. Anyway,